So by using these 2 months of data, we'll try to analyze that how is the job market for C#, ASP.NET, SQL Server. If you see out here, for the last 2 months, the job market of Angular and React is little bit coming down. I mean, like if you see here, this average which was here, which was almost 40,000, it is almost coming to 35,000, that is 5,000 jobs, right? Yes, there is a job difference of 2,000 and 2,500, but at the same time, a lot of time, like I can see that even Angular is winning out here. Look at those negative signs out there, which indicates that Angular job market is also good, right? A very, very happy Teachers Day to everyone. And this Teachers Day, I want to start with the famous Sant Kabir's Doha out here. Guru Govind do khade, kaake lagu paaye, balihari Guru apne, jin Govind diyo bataye. Means what? If I have been given a choice to choose between teacher and the God, I would choose the teacher because the teacher shows the path to the God. So a very good evening, a very good afternoon, and a very good morning as well from whichever location you are logging in, and a very, very happy Teachers Day to everyone. So let us start with today's session. And in today's session, what are we doing? So in this session, what we are doing is, you can see on the screen we have job data for 2 months, for the month of July and for the month of August. So we have 2 months of data out here, which we have taken from Naukri.com. Naukri.com is an Indian job website. So whatever I'm speaking in this video will be having more of an Indian context. But definitely I feel that India does a lot of outsourcing work for US and UK and Europe also, and many other countries. So I feel that this data is relevant for the other countries as well, right? So by using these 2 months of data, we'll try to analyze that how is the job market for C#, ASP.NET, SQL Server, and then for Angular and for React, right? So these are the 3 things we are starting with now. But later on, definitely I'm planning to include Azure. I'm also planning to include MSBI. I'm planning to include microservices and so on, right? So this is the data what we have, which has been collated, right? So using this data, there are a couple of questions which I want to answer out here. The first thing which I want to answer out here is that when I looked at this data, right, I see that there is a downtrend. I see there is a downtrend in case of ASP.NET, sorry, in case of Angular and React. I'm sorry. In case of an Angular and React, there is a downtrend. So we'll try to answer that why there is this downtrend. The second thing is, a lot of developers says, okay, Angular is good and React is good. React has more market and Angular has more market. So that answer also we'll try to hunt in this session, right? And also here I'll be talking about, understanding the cyclical nature of job posting. Because what happens is many times developers just resign, they go, right? And then suddenly they find that they are not getting calls. So by using this data, what I understood is there is a cyclical nature of the way the companies post data. And if you understand those cyclical nature, you can get the jobs faster. You can understand that why you are getting more calls and why you are not getting calls, right? So let us get started. So here is a graph plot out here, right? And this graph plot we have done for 3 things out here. One is the job market of C#, ASP.NET, for Angular and for React, right? And this is done for 2 months for now, for the month of July and for the month of August. Now definitely 1 or 2 days of July must have missed out, and August month have still not finished, right? So some data of August is not there, but approximately of 2 months this data is out here. So let us try to do the analysis. So you can see out here, this green ones out here indicate ASP.NET. Look at the top legends. Then the blue ones out here indicate Angular requirements. So these are the Angular requirements, and these yellow ones out here indicate the React requirement, right? So these are the 3 legends out here, right? On this axis you can see the number of jobs, and on this axis you can see the dates, right? So this is how it is, how this graph is, right? So let us try to understand. Point number 1 which I want to mention out here is that this is a very obvious, an obvious observation which I see. The number of jobs for the backend market, that is for ASP.NET, C# and SQL Server, is quite less as compared to the front-end market, that is Angular and React. So you can see, like for Angular and React, approximately 40,000 jobs are there. But when it comes to ASP.NET MVC, you can see we hardly have 25,000 jobs, right? But Said and done. So one is that yes, there is a big difference out there, and that is obvious, right? Because Angular or React, right? These frameworks, they must be used by Java people also. They are used by people who are using PHP, or people who are using Python, and people who are using ASP.NET. So definitely the market is multifold out there. That is very but obvious, and it is understood, right? But the second thing, what you can see out here is that the second point what I want to mention out here is, if I try to draw a trend line, so you can see here, if I try to draw a trend line out here, must be more than the trend line. Let me try the moving average, right? So let me try to do the moving average, and if I try to add a moving average out here as well, so if I try to put a moving average out here, if you see out here, for the last 2 months, the job market of Angular and React is little bit coming down. I mean, like if you see here, this average which was here, which was almost 40,000, it is almost coming to 35,000, that is 5,000 jobs, right? But when you're talking about the ASP.NET, MVC and C# market, you can see it is 25,000, and at the last of the month of August now also it is 25,000. So the second important point which I want to mention from this graph out here is that there is a slight decrement in the number of jobs which are there for Angular and React, right? It is dropping, and we'll talk about the reasons that why it is dropping. But when it comes to ASP.NET, I can see that the job market is almost flat. Let us talk about this downtrend. Actually, this downtrend of Angular and React, I don't think there is a downtrend in terms of job market for Angular and React. I feel that this downtrend of the graph which we are seeing for the last 2 months is because of the holidays. Because if you see, right from the month of July itself, the Indian holidays start. Remember that this is a Indian data. We have taken this data from Naukri.com. It's a data which is based from an Indian job site. So definitely, if you look at, right from the month of July, we have Muharram which starts. After that, we have the 15th August, the Independence Day, followed by Raksha Bandhan, followed by Janmashtami. Then we have, the Ganesh Chaturthi, Onam, then Diwali and Dasera, and then we'll end up somewhere to Christmas, in the month of December and so on. So you'll see a list of big holidays out here coming out, right? And I think that we'll see a subdued market, from the month of August, we'll be seeing this market more coming down. So I feel that this slight downtrend is because of that, because a 5,000 job up and down should not be seen like that, right? And definitely we are collecting more data in the coming months also, so this will be confirmed that if this downtrend is because of the holidays or is there something else, right? So that is my conclusion about this downtrend. But yes, it is very surprising to see that there is no downtrend in ASP.NET as such, right? I have rechecked the data again and again, right? From my data team, the data is absolutely right. But that downtrend, if you are seeing, right, then the downtrend is that because of the vacations, because of the holidays which are coming up. Also, one important point which I want to highlight out here is that many of the Indian companies are dependent on US companies. Like if you see all the multinational companies, at the end of the day, their parent companies are either in US or they are either in Europe, right? And so as soon as the November, December starts out there, they freeze the job market, or the job vacancies almost become nil over there, right? And that definitely reflects to India as well, because if they freeze the job over there, then no recruitment happens in India as well. And this continues because if it's a December, if it's a Christmas, right, the holiday gala party starts right from November itself. So from November itself, there is no job vacancy. And then somewhere around the end of January or somewhere around the first week of February, it starts showing some green signs of job vacancy. What I mean to say out here is that as soon as the month of July starts, right, that means that we have to know that the number of calls will be less. This is very important for a developer, because many developers, what they do, they put resignations during the time of October, and then suddenly, there are no calls out there, right? So this should again be a part of your planning. If you're putting a resignation, when to put it, right? So remember, the best time to get a job or best time to get number of calls is, right from the mid of the January. So January, February, March, April and May, and also June. This 6 months is like your harvesting period. This is the time, if you want to hop, if you want to do something, you should take it up. After that, the vacation starts out there, and then it becomes difficult, right? So this is a small what you call conclusion I made out, from this graph what I'm seeing out here. The third point which I want to highlight out here is the job market of Angular versus React. A lot of people say that no, like React market is better than Angular and Angular market is better than React, right? So if you see out here, let me just go and delete this trend line. So you can see my screen out here. So let me go and delete this trend line. So you can see this blue dots out here is Angular, right? And these yellow dots out here are React, and they are very close. Means it's not too far away from each other. Not only that, okay, at some moment of time you can see, okay, like in July you can see that Angular was going low, but at some moment of time, Angular was going high as well and React was going low, right? So if I try to find out the difference, this is the real data out here. If I try to find out the difference between React and Angular, so let me go and subtract, React from Angular like this, right? And let us try to just see that what is the job difference out here. So you can see, yes, there is a job difference of 2000 and 2500, but at the same time, a lot of time, like I can see that even Angular is winning out here. Look at those negative signs out there, which indicates that Angular job market is also good, right? So yes, there is a difference. At the end of the day, we can conclude on absolute terms, we can conclude that React is winning, right? Now, if you're thinking that winning by 1500 jobs and 2000 jobs is a big difference, I think so, no, right? So do either Angular or do either React, do one of the technologies. It will help you to cover your client side thinking, client side thing, from the job aspect, right? But you don't have to really go into gaga of saying that React is good or Angular is good, right? So that is again one more conclusion which I made out here is that that yes, the React market is high, but that high, how much high is not that high, right? So this is my third conclusion, from this graph. The fourth point, which I want to highlight out here is that you can see that this graph out here, it starts and it goes down and then again goes up. The same again you can see for ASP.NET as well, right? And if you really try to watch very closely out here, you will see at the start of the month, you can see this is the start of the July, the job is higher, right? It goes down till the end of the July, the job becomes lower, right? Again, it goes till the start of the August, the job market again comes up, or the jobs are available, and again at the end of the August it goes down. Also, what I've done is I have marked the Mondays. These are the Mondays actually, guys. Mondays of every week. These are all the Mondays. If you look at also the Mondays, right? The Monday of the first week, you will see that job market is high. The Monday of the last week, right, of the month, it is low, right? And again, same for the other ones also. These are all the Mondays which I've highlighted out here. What is the whole crux from this? Why I'm talking about this? What I'm trying to say is that the number of calls, in the start of the month or in the start of the week would be very high. So that is the time you should be alert. You should take up the calls, you should start applying, and then, start giving the interviews and so on. Until the end of the month, right? Don't expect too many calls, as the days go down, right? So remember the first week of the month, I think you should be on a high alert. Your phone should be in a proper range, right? You should be applying on Naukri.com like a hell, right? If people who are looking to resign on time, right? So I think this is again the point I'm looking out here. So remember the time period from February till the start of July, or must be even I can take the end of July, maximum stretch, is where you should be getting a lot of number of calls. The first week of the month is where the maximum number of calls are there. So what happens is, when you know, because a lot of time what happens, developer think, oh, like during Diwali they think, oh, I'm not getting any calls. During Diwali, don't take any tension. Look at the crackers, enjoy the atmosphere, right? There is no point because you won't be getting any calls. So these are specifically for people who are hunting jobs, right? They shouldn't get into panic, right? So when it is holidays, leave it. So whatever you want to do, you would like to do in this, in this first 6 months, right? And in the first week of the month, and the first week of the month of the 6 months, and the first week of the month of the 6th month, right? So again, this is one more important conclusion which I've taken out from this graph. Also, guys, please put down on the comments that do you think that as a developer, is there something else which I don't know? For example, as a developer, many of the developers know this. They know this. As soon as Christmas starts, calls are not going to happen. As soon as Diwali starts, calls are not going to happen. But you know what? Many of the developers are there who are not aware of this, right? And many of the developers know, yes, if it is Monday, you are going to get calls. If it is Friday evening, you are not going to get calls, right? So people know about it. But is there something else which would be benefiting for the community? Please put down on the comments. We would like to hear about it. So 4 points, we are concluding, from this discussion, whatever we have done till now. Point number 1, the client-side technology has more demand as compared to server-side technology. So we just saw from the graph figure that yes, ASP.NET MVC has less requirements as compared to the client-side technology. And definitely at the end of the day, people use them as a stack. So the comparison is unfair, but keep that in mind, right? The second thing, which I want to talk here is definitely there is a downtrend in Angular and React for the last 2 months, right? And we'll be confirming this later on. Remember, we are going to have more such job analysis getting posted after 3 months or 4 months. But whatever is this downtrend, it is because of the holidays. It is because of the vacations, which are coming up, right? The third point is Angular and React job numbers. Definitely there is a difference. React definitely is number 1, but the difference is not too high. And at some moment of time, Angular also surpasses React, right? And the fourth one is we also try to understand the cyclical nature of the job posting. So we saw that in the first week of the month, in the first Monday of the month, right, the job posting are higher in number, and then at the last Monday of the month, right, the job postings are lower in number. So and also we said that like until December, so like from February onwards, till the month of June or July, I will say, you have a good chance of getting a job, or you have a more chance of getting a job because the job postings are high. But as soon as the festival starts, right, and then until the December and until Christmas, it becomes difficult. The job requirements become less. Remember, I'm not saying that there is no job requirement. I'm just saying that which 6 months are favorable and which 6 months are not favorable, right? A good developer will always get a job, isn't it? So that's the 4-point conclusion, which I'm making from this video. You can see on the screen, and let me know if there is anything else, which I'm missing out here, because you guys are at the end of the day hunting jobs day and night. You are giving interviews out there. So if anything out there is there, which you can share to the community, because that one share, will help the people, help the developers to get a better job. Remember, it is not always that how much technically you are prepared. You should also understand these non-technical things as well, so that you can excel, right? So that brings us to the end of the session. And remember, at the end of the day, keep preparing, right? You are in a good position, you are in a bad position, you are in a comfort zone, you are in a discomfort zone. Always be prepared. So down below I have posted all my interview questions, C# interview questions, ASP.NET interview questions, SQL Server interview questions, Angular interview questions, object-oriented programming interview question, architecture interview question re bhai. Kar lena bhai interview questions, right? So keep preparing, keep learning, happy job hunting, and a very, very happy Teachers Day. Thank you.